Guang is the creator, also known as the father of Pinyin in the Chinese language since its introduction more than 60 years ago. Zhou Youguang was born in Changzhou, Jiangsu Province on January 13, 1906. Zhou's original name was Zhou Yaoping but changed to his pen name Zhou Youguang as an adult. During his time in high school, he found interest in linguistics and graduated with honors. That same year, he enrolled into St. John's University in Shanghai where he majored in economics and took supplementary coursework in linguistics. Later, he transferred to Guanghua University, which he graduated in 1927. His early life after university included him working in multiple banks as well as being a professor teaching economics at Fudan University.
In 1955, his academic path changed, and in 1956, he began to engage in full-time language research. On February 11, 1958, the first edition of Hanyu Pinyin was approved and adopted at the 5th session of the First National People's Congress. The book was then published in 1961 to the public. It was also introduced to the primary school as a way to learn standard Chinese pronunciation and used to improve the literacy rate among adults. In 1982, the International Organization for Standardization passed an international vote and recognized the Hanyu Pinyin plan as the international standard for spelling Chinese. On January 6, 2015, with the permission and support of Mr. Zhou Youguang, Changzhou University established the Zhou Youguang Language and Culture Institute and hired Mr. Zhou Youguang as the honorary dean for life. Pinyin is the key factor in China's modern-day advancements in terms of economics, social unity, and education. Pinyin is the key factor in China's modern-day advancements in terms of economic improvements. Pinyin has made texting in Chinese easier and more effective, thus making economic improvements.
在新的世纪，手机发短信用拼音快得很，无需学习，用笔画的还得记住，点是哪个键。撇是哪个键？笔顺要记住。去年全国的短信发了7000亿条。
The invention of Pinyin has potentially promoted the development of Chinese economy by connecting it to the rest of the world. Pinyin has not only vastly increased literacy within the country, but also eased the classroom agonies for foreigners studying Chinese. Pinyin has made it easier for foreigners to study Chinese, thus resulting in an increase in the amount of Chinese learners. Many of these either work and live in China, or they run their business together with Chinese. Since language has always been the key to trade and business, eventually it leads to more economic contact between foreigners and Chinese, and the development of Chinese economy.
In the 20th century, 85% of the population were illiterate in China. With the development of Pinyin, there's only a 5% illiteracy rate in China. The increase of literacy rate in China helped with economical development because there's a lot more people who are educated and so they got into business companies easier. This means the amount of business companies increased, resulting in an economic increase as well. Illiteracy remained rampant throughout China well into the 20th century, affecting, by some estimates, as much as 85% of the population. Today, Pinyin is used by hundreds of millions of people in China alone. School children there first learn to read by means of the system before graduating to the studies of characters. As a result, the country's illiteracy rate today is only about 5%, according to UNICEF. Pinyin is also the standard pedagogy for foreign students of China around the world.
Pinyin is the key factor in China's modern-day advancements in terms of social unity.
In foreign countries, Chinese is a language provided for foreigners to learn, and this helps the Chinese unite socially with these foreigners when they come to China because there is a common language between the two. Chinese language lessons for foreigners are conducted in Pinyin.
So it's 2, 0, 1, 5. Please look at the board, okay? And open your mouth and read. Okay, 年 年 月 日
Different places in China spoke different dialects, and before the creation of Pinyin, they weren't able to understand each other because of the dialect barrier. With the creation of Pinyin, people in China were able to better communicate and understand each other, uniting different dialect groups of China together.
我来自湖北孝感，你吃饭了吗？在我们那里用你吃饭吗？
吃饭了没？
你吃飯未啊？食飯未啦？
食飯未？你食飯未？
你食飯咗未？你學飯未？
你可吃飯啦？
你吃飯沒有？
吃饭了没有？
吃個飯了嗎？
你吃飯噻？
吃了嗎？ 港街。你吃饭了没
？Umbrella。
雨伞。
雨伞。为什么好笑的？
好酸。
好难听。
为什么难听？我觉得好听。好酸。
好爽，
听起来好像好爽的感觉。
那好爽，
好爽怎么说？
金爽。真爽的意思。
在。你在骗人吗？真的是2个字，
好爽。
就等于我们说雨伞，我们说遮，就是那个遮住东西那个字。对。
Pinyin replaced the traditional writing systems of several ethnic minorities in China and has been used to document the previously unwritten languages of many more. Zhou also pointed out in an interview, it also became a bridge to speech between Chinese people, helping 普通话, or standard Chinese, to spread.
Chinese Mandarin is the world's most widely spoken language with close to 1.2 billion speakers, which is about 20% of the world population. As the economy in China has been rapidly increasing for the past 10 years, people are starting to realize the importance of Chinese in the future world, which is leading more people using Pinyin to learn Chinese, and so even in foreign countries, you'll be able to find Chinese speakers who aren't Chinese. This makes communication in foreign countries easier. As we mentioned, Chinese is the most widely spoken language in the world. Anywhere you travel or live on Earth, you have been able to spot a fellow Chinese speakers around you. Learning Mandarin will instantly open up communication abilities to over 1.2 billion people and grow quickly. The ability to communicate to over 1 billion people has major value in the job marketplace. Of course, this includes companies in China and other Mandarin-speaking countries that you can apply to. Companies all around the world are striving to tap into Chinese marketplace, and you will immediately differentiate yourself if you can speak Mandarin. Pinyin is the key factor in China's modern-day advancements in terms of an increase in education.
After Zhou Youguang's active participation in assisting the education system of Chinese literature, gradually increasing literacy rates are becoming even more apparent in parts of China. Therefore, the reason for Pinyin to be so significant in modern-day China is due to the effectiveness of Pinyin as it assists students to easily identify and recognize Chinese characters, which once has been the most challenging language to practice and achieve average literacy. It had an enormous impact on literacy, said Victor H. Mayer, a professor of Chinese language and literature at the University of Pennsylvania. All Chinese students now begin to read and write using Pinyin before moving on to characters. Benefits of Pinyin help students learn new characters using less time and effort to achieve past goals in Chinese literacy. In the process of learning Chinese literature, pronunciation is first taught to help achieve an easier process in learning Chinese characters in the near future.
周先生也跟我们谈谈这个汉语拼音有什么用处，有什么好处啊？
汉语我小的时候，读书啊，一个字不认识都要问老师，查字典不行，
师傅带徒弟就是啊。
因为字典上面用反切的方法来注音，要认2个字来注1个字，小孩子不能用，所以字不认得呢，要找老师，老师不在我就没有办法了。
Education in modern-day China is introduced to multitudes of people contrary to former occurrences, showing how more people are able to grasp education and later on taking the Gaokao, a college entrance exam that will determine their future career paths, as it is China's only offered final education exam to identify the prodigies in various schools. Quoted from Zhou Youguang. As China united to develop a new country, the biggest challenge faced during the time was the lack of cultural development amongst the many citizens of China, even to the point that a large part of the population lacked in recognizing Chinese characters and efficiently using them. Today, Pinyin is used as the basis of learning Chinese. Without Pinyin, Chinese is extremely difficult to learn, and therefore, as a developer of Pinyin, Zhou Youguang is without a doubt a great contributor to Chinese education, and also the pride of Chinese language modernization.